ready to put some leaves on this cute little frog and his rose. I've got some lovely ferns I bought from the mission sale, and they are great fun, and they are beautiful, and they're going to green him right up. Where do these ferns come from? Well, they came from the rescue mission. They are a silk flower fern, and they have plastic on the back of them. And if you catch them in the right place, you can simply peel the leaf off. And there you are. You have a beautiful silk fern ready to be put on a quilt. And as you can see, they're rumply. They are not smooth and they are not simple. So when we go to stitch those down, we're going to have a little difficulty. And I have the secret magic trick to make that work so much better. Okay, right now I'm playing with my leaves to see which way I like them best. Maybe like that, and maybe like that. Push that out a little bit. I think I want that under that. Okay, now if I were to go stitch these down just as they are, just take them under my darning foot, every little frond would get caught in the darning foot and I would be clipping them off, which is miserable. So I'm not going to do that. I have, and this looks like a piece of saran wrap, but what it really is aquafilm. Now there are a whole bunch of different versions of this. And most of them are good. Some are better than others. You kind of need to try them and see. I particularly like aquafilm and the Madeira version of it. But aquafilm isn't really, I don't know that this is even available anymore, but they have something called H2O Wash Away, which, that's from OESD. Anyway, there are a lot of these. Solvay exists and it's workable. I find Solvay dissolves less thoroughly and takes more fuss. So I'm going to take my leaves, I'm going to cut my piece in half so that I've got enough to cover. And I'm going to cover my leaves so that they're flat and pin them down so that they will be contained while we're stitching. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my pinning, but this will work. I do want to be sure that I've kept them on my piece. And as you can see, it takes a little maneuvering. We can just pin those down. Oh boy, I need to move that just a little bit. There we are. That's pinned down. That's not going anywhere. And I'm going to pin the other two down, and they're not going anywhere. And then I'm going to stitch them with polyester embroidery thread. If I wanted the stitching not to show at all, I could stitch it with monofilament nylon. And you and God and I would all know, but God and I would be silent. It's something that nobody needs to know that's what you did. Because it's all going to look very easy here. I'm going to go through, I do have that purple line in that, and I may accentuate that with some purple thread. I'm still thinking about what I'd like to do, but I'm anchored and I've got my pins in. These are going nowhere. They're safe. They're not going to make a problem for me. They're not going to move or change or do anything strange. I've decided I am going to use purple thread to stitch this down. I used to have red ferns in my garden, and they were not very red. They were mostly green, but they had the loveliest stems and outlines on the edges. And I think that purple will really do what I'm hoping for. I'm going to start to stitch on this. I have my stitch set at straight stitch, and I have my ferns right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one pin out, and once I start to stitch, it's kind of anchored. And I've got that lovely purple thread at straight stitch. I'm just going to go and anchor that down. And then I'm going to go around the edges. Do I need to be slavish? Do I need to be exact? Well, heavens no. Why would I do that? What I need to do is anchor it. The edges are themselves finished because this is a silk fern. It doesn't have any raw edges. And I can go right back there and go around the center of that. One last pin to remove. And I'm done. Wasn't that hard? My next task, now that I've stitched those down, is to remove any of that excess film. Now this film, I don't know that we said this, but this film is made of cornstarch. And it is completely dissolvable. If I wet it, it will go away. And that's what I'm going to do, but it does make a gummy kind of thing. So you want to get what you can get away of it so that you don't have it gumming up your piece. And you're going to need to be willing to let your piece dry, probably overnight. If it's a big piece and I'm concerned about it, I'll hang it up by a fan and let the fan blow on it all evening. But usually you can get that done. So now that I've cut away all those little extra bits, those are bits of goo I will not have to deal with. And I am ready for water. I'm back and I'm ready, and I've stitched all of my ferns down, and you can see my salvie. Now this is a topper. This is not a stabilizer really. It's a topper, and it's made to hold things down so you can stitch them. And I have a clean sponge here and some warm water. This is the easiest way I've learned to do this. I'm going to sponge it with that water, and this controls it, and as you can see, the goo is dissolving. And I have a wonderful stitched down fern that's got all its little parts. Ready to go. It doesn't have, there are people who do this with tulle. I don't like using that because it makes everything shadowy and it removes the color. And if there's no good color, what are we doing? So anyway, this is my way. This is easy. And as you see, you just dissolve it. And that way I don't have to deal with spillage. I can kind of pat it dry. I may, since I am working with hand-dye, get a little bit of color out of it. And that happens, but I've never had it completely ruin something. It just has a little extra color come loose. And there we are, beautiful ferns ready to go.